G'day guys, welcome back. Welcome to Pouring Your Heart Out. I am going to do something that I've never done before. I know! And I'll tell you all about it as I go along. I saw this on another YouTube channel, so I'll tell you all about that in a minute. But the first thing we need to do is we need to get our glass eyes into our frog. Now you've seen me do this quite a few times, so I'll go through it real quick. The first thing we're going to do is on the back of these little glass eyes, these are 8mm eyes, and it's got a clear glass top there, cabochon, and then it's got a little sticker on the bottom, so don't peel that off, okay? And what I like to do is just put a little dot there at the top of that point. You don't need to do this if you're using an eye that's got a round pupil, but if you've got one of these like dragon ones, you need to do this, and then you close up your line, just so that when you're putting your eyes in, they're not skew, unless you want skew eyes. All right, so that's what I've done. And the lady that was doing this as well, this video, she must have seen my video, probably, maybe, who knows, and she does the same thing, so it's common sense, really. All right, so that's that done. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to UV them in, and I have got my UV resin here from Let's Resin, and you get a little cup. This particular one is a 2-bottle one. I'm not sure if they give you a one, if there's a 1 bottle or a 2 bottle, and then there's like a bigger thing as well, and a little mixing spoon. I only need the one today, and then there's some instructions as well, so all kinds of things in there. I'm just going to use the one. I don't need that for now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off and take the little foil seal off as well, and then screw that on like that, because I need, if you're doing big pieces, you don't need the nozzle, you can just sort of pour your resin out, but if you want to use a nozzle, then you just do that, okay? And don't throw that away in case you need that. All right, let me just get that, clean my fingers, got a bit of resin on when I was taking that foil off. All right, now this can be a little bit tricky, getting eyes into your mold, and once they're in there, you have to be super careful not to touch your mold, like, you know, if you do this, they'll just pop straight out. The other thing you can do is use eye stickers. If you're not confident with putting the glass ones in with UV, you can just buy eye stickers, dragon eye stickers. Okay, that's what they're called and look like. Amazon, eBay, Temu, AliExpress, all that kind of thing. You can do those, but I'm going to try with these. So I'm going to just, have I got the lid off? Yes. I'm going to put a little drop in there. Now, sorry if you can't see. Oops, there's a bubble in it. I need to get that bubble out. It's probably a little bit too much in there, actually. Let's take a bit out. Don't torch in there. I can see a little bubble, so I'm just going to try and pick it out. Don't want a bubble on your eyeball. All right, so that's that there. Now I'm just going to drop this in. Doesn't matter which way it goes in for the moment. Just kind of drop it in there, and then once it's in there, you can move it around to how you want it. I'm not sorry if you can't see. Okay, I think that's about it. I am just going to hold this under my UV lamp for a minute. Bear with me, I can't let go of either to push pause. I only really need to do like 20 seconds or so just to hold it in place, and then I can heat it from the other side as well. I don't know, can you see what's going on down in there? Hopefully you can. So pretty easy to do, really. Probably don't put, the advice I can give you is don't put too much resin in the little eyeball hole, otherwise it'll kind of oozes out when you put the glass eye in, which isn't really a problem because I'm going to fill that area with clear resin anyway. There it is. All right, let's do the other side. Go in there and set you for a minute, and then I'll come back and do the other one. 3, 2, 1, 0. All right. Now, again, be really careful that you're not going to pop that eye out. And we're going to do the same to the other side. So hold it on the feet. Don't touch the head at all. Be really careful with it. I'm going to see if I can get like half a drop in there. If you think that it's a bit much, just take your paper towel like I did. Take a little bit out. Know that I actually got any in there actually. Oh gosh. Okay, now I've got some in there. Now I can see it. And there's a big bubble in there too. Now, sorry if you can't see what I'm doing. Just going to kind of spread that tiny little drop around so it's kind of touching the sides as well. I don't want it just sitting in the bottom. Okay, let's throw this little eyeball in. And again, don't worry too much at this stage if it's in the wrong spot, because once it's in there, I can move it around very carefully. Sometimes it's easier just to use a toothpick. So I'm looking at the other one in there, the other eye, and kind of just making sure that they're as close to each other as possible. That one's kind of on a bit of an angle, so I'm going to have this one on a bit of an angle as well. Like so. All right, there we go. Let's do this one. So while this is curing, actually I'll just do 20 seconds again and I'll turn it over and do a minute. And then I will come back to you. So the next thing I need to do is mix up a little bit of clear resin just to go in the head and in the belly. So we're not going to fill the whole thing up. All right, that should be good. Look at that. All right, gently, gently turn him over. And I'll do another minute, and I am going to mix up my resin. I'm going to use this one, Let's Resin Fast Cure, because I need a thick resin for this technique. A and B, Fast Cure. So yeah, I will mix up, oh look, I probably only need a couple of ounces, so I'm going to mix that up while this is doing its thing, while it's curing, and then I'll be right back and I'll spill the beans. I'll tell you all about what I'm doing today. All right, I have my resin mixed up. I actually did 32 grams of A and 30 grams of B, so I've got 2 ounces, a little bit there. All right, let's pour this in. I'm going to pour it onto my stick just to help with the, don't want any splashing. We'll try not to get any bubbles because this is going to be our clear layer. I can see a couple of bubbles there. So I'll just carefully bring them up to the surface. Probably not a good idea to use something pointy. This will do. Little silicone brush. Don't torch into your mold. You will fuse the resin with the mold, especially these sort of transparent molds. All right, now I just want to make sure that I'm not going to go too far. Put a little bit more in. All right, so what I'm going to do is, and I will link this YouTube video down in the description. It was by a lady from Jelly Bean Crafts. Hello, let me know what your name is. Let me know down in the description if you are watching this. Let me know. So what she did was she poured some resin into her mold, and then she basically injected something else in there to make bubbles. So I've got a little bit left over. I'm just going to pop some in here. She used a different resin. Let's pop a little bit in there, put it in there. And I'm assuming you do need a really thick resin for this. I'm just popping a little bit into these. These are just little paint palette. So you need your resin to be thick. So what I'm going to do, let's put that to the side. I'm going to use some of my Elmer's clear glue. I have this left over from my, I think it was my slime making days actually. Because when I was doing acrylic pouring, I used the white glue. So it's going to pop a little bit in here, like so. It's a bit crusty around the edge. All right, so a little bit of that. And then to that, I am going to add some Chameleon powder. So this is the Let's Resin Chameleon powder. It's not the intense Chameleon powder, it's just the regular Chameleon powder, and there's 10 colors in there. I've chosen Galaxy and Teal, and I'm going to kind of mix the two together into the Elmer's glue. So basically that is going to be what is injected into this resin that's in here. I think I might try and get a little bit into these back legs as well, so we get some bubbles happening in those as well. Now because we're going to be injecting into there, you don't want to overfill this, all right, because when you put your bubbles in there, it's going to rise more anyway. So probably try not to put too much in there, otherwise it's going to overflow. A little bit in there. I've still got some left. So I'm thinking that my resin is probably too thin at the moment, so I'm going to let it sit, and that's why I've got these little test pieces here as well. I'm going to do tests in there to see when it's thick enough for me to go ahead, because I don't want to do it all and then realize, hey, my resin's too thin and the bubbles aren't staying in their shapes. So I think that's what I'm going to do. All right, so it's a bit of a step-by-step, but because I've never done this before, I'm just going to be on the safe side and just check to make sure that the resin is thick enough. I can't remember what she used actually, what resin she used. Like I say, we're going to do a scoop of the Galaxy and then a scoop of Teal, and oops, we'll see what that looks like, see if I need any more. Again, I'm not sure how much to use. Do want it nice and opaque looking, I guess. No, that looks pretty. That's a nice colour. I don't see why you can't mix two colours of Chameleon powders. Now, to inject this glue mixture into our resin mixture, you can do a few different things. You can use a little bottle with a needle nose point, which is what the lady from Jelly Bean Crafts used, but she pulled out the little metal nozzle anyway because she said she couldn't actually plunge or get anything out through that little nozzle. So I thought, I've got two options here. I have a syringe. I just don't know if I push too hard, am I going to go whoa and like spurt a whole lot out. So that's an option. Syringe, or the other thing is also a little bottle, but this one came with this nozzle, so it's got a bigger hole in it. So we're going to test both. Okay, we're going to test both in our little test pieces here just to see. And I've got a little bit more resin left over, so let's get started. That looks really pretty. I can see purpley, greeny, blue sorts of colours. Oh my gosh. All right. We'll just move that out of the way because I want to test these first and see which I have more control over, the bottle or the syringe. So let's get this out of here for a minute. I do have a little funnel as well if I need it, but I think I'll be able to just pour it into there, but we'll just try the syringe first. Okay, so that's there. Clean that off. But I am assuming that you're going to need quite a thick resin to hold the bubbles. All right, now some of this will pour in here. The Elmer's glue is quite a thin liquid. You can see it's pouring quite easily. That'll be enough. I won't use it all just in case I have to use the syringe instead. Okay, so let's try. We'll do the bottle in here and the syringe in there, and I'll just see which is going to work better for me. I'm going to make sure I get no bubble. Don't want to blow a bubble in there. We actually want to blow some of this in there. So, all right, so that's good. I'll keep the pressure on that. Okay, here we go. We're going to push the nozzle into the resin. Well, I am getting a bubble though. Ta-da! It popped. So the bubble that I had in there has popped, and the mica powder or the Chameleon powder has sort of come up to the top. So I can't see underneath it. So I don't know if that's an actual bubble or whether that's just, you know how the mica powder when it sort of pops and comes to the surface it spreads. So I don't know if that's done that or not, but I actually got a bubble in there with it. Let's try again, and I'll try not to get a bubble into it this time. I'm going to keep the pressure on it. So do that, keep the pressure, and do that. So any better? It's still spreading. See, the resin might be too thick. Still. So anyway, we'll put that aside and let's try the syringe, because the syringe isn't going to suck air back in like this does when you release the pressure. It's not going to do that, so I thought maybe that would be a better option. So let's try that here. Put it into the resin, squeeze. Wow. Oh, is it going to be all right? Is it going to do its thing? Is it? Okay, so maybe that's the better option then. Because like I said, as soon as you release your pressure from the squeezing it sucks air back in. It looks as if it's working. It looks as if it's working. Okay. Well, that's exciting. Excuse my excitement. All right, I have decided to put this little blunt top needle just on the top of my syringe, and I've filled it up. I'm going to hold it upside down, well, not upside down, hold it upright like that and plunge just to make sure that there's no air anywhere. Make sure there's no air. Okay, I think we are good to go. All right, I hate it when people say we, talk about themselves in the third party. I shall start injecting now. I'm going to go into the resin. Oops, actually that's not very deep, just in that little section there. Let me try again. Holding my breath. Lifting it up carefully, wipe the end. Okay, I haven't put as much resin in there as I probably could, because this is going to, as I put these dots in, it's going to fill up. So it's like when you're getting into a bath, it all water fills up, doesn't it? Gets displaced. Okay, wipe the end off again. I don't know how many I can put in here. Oops, catch that drop. Oh my gosh, I just knocked it. Right, let's try and make that a little bit neater. Right, so I'm just going to continue doing my little drops here. I'm going to do big ones and small ones. I'm not touching the base of the mold. Well, I'm not touching the mold, I should say. I'm just sort of, I think I'm just plunging it about halfway down with the little needle. Make sure that you're using the flat needle, not the pointy needle. You could do some damage to your mold. Now if you find that your glue mixture is too thin and you know it just keeps coming up to the surface, I guess what you could do is maybe once you've got your glue mixed up in there, maybe leave it out overnight to let it thicken a bit. I think that might be a good option. I'm trying to do some big ones and some small ones, but they're all, they seem to be about the same size. Oh, I hope this works. Big one over here. And then once this first layer has cured, I'm going to come back in and do a second layer that will hopefully go into these back legs. And I think probably 2 layers will be enough. You don't have to wait until the first layer is totally cured, like, you know, cured to unmold. You just cured enough so that you can put your next layer on without the next layer of resin sort of sinking and mixing in with it. So probably just be maybe 3 hours. I should be able to do that. Nearly done, nearly done. Oh gosh. But I think this is the best way to do it, the syringe with the blunt needle point. How's that looking? Pretty good. Probably shouldn't do too many more now because I can just wait until the next layer and then put more on as well. Oh, there's a space there. There's a space. Let's do another one. Okay. Hopefully they won't move too much. The resin in there is pretty thick now. It's probably, I think when I checked it when it was in the cup, it was about 30 degrees. It's dropped a bit now to 27. It always cools once you've decanted it, but I would suggest you wait until it's about 30 degrees. So or even more, like 35. You know, when I do the 3D bloom, I wait till it's about 35 degrees. So probably do that until it's nice and thick. Wait until your glue is nice and thick. Let that sit overnight, I would think. I would suggest. Yeah. So just let this set now. And then I'll do another layer and then I'll come in and do my dusting with the Chameleon powders. Now to clean this, I'm just going to sort of pull back a little bit because it's glue that's going to set. I'm going to pull back a little bit on that and we'll just make sure that that's clean. Wipe it with some isopropyl and leave it there. All right, I'm going to see you guys in about 3 hours for the next layer. Let's have a little look though. Let's go have a little close up and see what it's looking like in there. There's the eyes down the back there, and there's my dots. See, I've tried to get some big and some small. So hopefully it's going to work. Yay, yay, yay. It looks as if it's working already. Okay, see you soon. All right, I think this has cured enough for me to do the next layer. It's been a few hours. Yep, still makes a little dent when I poke it with a toothpick, but it should be okay. Now I've got some more of the Let's Resin Fast Cure resin. I did just over 30 grams of A and 30 grams of B, and it's been sitting for about 15 minutes, I guess, just to thicken a little bit. So let's pour this in onto the stick so we don't get splashing and therefore bubbles, and we'll let it run into those back legs there a little bit, like so. Has that gone in? Yep. And again, remember that it will get deeper as I put more little bubbles in. What's that? That looks like a bubble from the previous pour. Is it? No, it's moving. It's a bubble from this pour. All right, here we go again. Hopefully those will come up to the surface. I think from what I've learnt so far, I had a little practice earlier. I think what I've learnt from so far is it's not that important to have this resin thick. It's more important to have your glue thick. So if you're going to do this, like I said before, make sure that you mix your glue 24 hours beforehand and just let it sit in the cup, because it's water-based, so it'll kind of evaporate a little bit and get thicker. I don't want to waste any of this just in case I need that last little bit that I've got, but I want to get all the air bubbles out. All right, so there we go. That's what I've learned, and I'm happy to pass it on to you. All right, here we go. Let's do some more. Like when you're holding it like that, it shouldn't just all drip out, you know. Now, let's see where I can put a few more little bubbles. Oops, always tricky getting in there. Oh gosh, now I've put my finger in it. All right, just clean that up with the little stick. It's hard when you're going in there because the resin is stuck to it and you're pulling it out on an angle. So it's got to be, try and pull straight up and then wipe your little drop off. Over here is much easier when I can go straight down. So I don't know that I want to do too many sort of over the tops of the other ones. I'm certainly going to put it here on the sides where there aren't any, and just little ones where I can see there's a bit of a gap. And keep going, trying to do different size bubbles. I haven't got that much left, so I'm going to have to do the legs. Oops, there we go. Try and get into the knee there. And lift straight up. It's really important, I found, to lift straight up. Otherwise you're dragging the colour along the surface. I tell you, I got the fright of my life earlier. I was waiting for this resin to thicken up a little bit. Because I'm home alone. Dave's out playing golf. And the smoke alarms all went off because they linked. So I thought, oh my God, there's this, you know, there's, as you would, you think, what's on fire? So I'm racing around the house, downstairs, all the rooms, checked all the rooms, fire alarms, you know, dogs are barking. It's loud. They are very loud. They didn't want to turn off. and I could smell this like, not like a fire burning smell, more like a, I don't know, electrical, chemical type smell. You know when you get new carpet and you walk in and you can definitely smell that sort of new carpet sort of smell. Do you know what I mean? And I was trying to ring Dave, so come home and check, because I was walking around and I found that the smell was stronger in our walk-in pantry, like in our butler's pantry. And I'm trying to ring him, but he's at golf, so he's not answering. And then, you know, the funniest thing happened. The people across the road and down the road and behind us, their fire alarms, their smoke detectors, they all started going off. And so then I thought, well, you know, is there like a gas leak in the street that's setting all the smoke alarms off? Because it's not necessarily smoke that'll set them off. It's any sort of smell as well, like a bad smell, chemical smells and things like that will also set them off. So anyway, he's finally come home and I said to him, can you just get up in the roof, in the cavity, and see if there's like, I don't know, a fan or a motor or something up there that's burnt out, because it smells really bad. And then I had to come in and do this. I don't know what he's found, if he's found anything. Let's see if we can get into this arm here. It was just bizarre. I've never come across that before. Has anyone else come across something like that? Get into that little elbow there, concentrating here. Okay, so look, haven't got much left. So I've just seen him through my studio window there, walking up to the shed to get the ladder so he can climb up into the manhole. Came home and he said, can I have lunch first? I said, no, get up in the roof, see what's going on. I don't know, like I have no idea what could be causing it. I'm just going to do like a couple more over the top here because I've got a little bit left. I wonder if I can, I don't know. I think if I try and get into the head, I guess I could try. But then how do I lift it straight up? Ah, there we go, I did it. Oh my God, I did it. All right, let's try another one. Lift straight up. Ah, catch it. That one did drip a little bit. I can push it back with the toothpick. So make it look more like a ball instead of a ball and then a tail. All right, is that it? Should we do any more? Oh my gosh, what a morning, what a morning. I think I can get into this little knee here. Oops, no, I've touched the other one. Okay, let's push it back again. Use a toothpick and just sort of separate it a little bit. See, it's hard when there's something above it, like this, because I can't lift the syringe straight up again. So it lifts up and then, you know, drags. It wants to drag. I want to see if I can get in here. Lift up. I'll just leave it there until I get that drop. There we go, that works. All right, I think I'm done. Look, I might do another couple, but I won't bore you. Hopefully this will be okay. Now, on the surface, it's wet glue. So if you're going to do this, you definitely need to put another layer over the top because it's just wet glue and it's always going to stay wet glue. So you have to top coat it, which I'm going to do anyway. And I'm going to dust the little fingers and toes and things and arms with my Chameleon powders. So once this layer has cured, I will come back again and we'll do some dusting. All right, this next layer has set, but like I said to you earlier, these little dots, they've still got wet glue in them. I guess they'll set dry eventually, but we're moving on to the next step. So I'm going to use the champagne, which sort of goes a pinky gold color, and then I'll use the teal because I've put the teal in the dots, so I think those two will look nice. The teal I'm going to do just in the little toes, and then I'll do the champagne on the rest of the legs. So let's get to it. A little bit in there. We've got to make sure we get up the sides as well, not just on the bottom. Just like that. I've got an idea of what to do with the toes. I was thinking about it, but I'll do that in a different video. So that should be fun. I'm really in two minds about whether to do clear or black for the top coat. I'm not sure. Oh gosh. Because it's only going to be like half full of black and the rest of it will be clear. I don't know how that'll look like from the side. I guess it doesn't matter. But if I do clear, I can always put it on a piece of black card anyway. Or actually the other thing is, if you're really not sure like I am, what we could do, and how about we do this? I'll do clear, and then when I put it on some black card, I think, oh, that would really look nice. We could just go and spray it with some black spray paint. You could get nail polish if you wanted to, but it would take like a whole bottle of nail polish. But you could certainly just give it a quick spray with some spray paint, or if you've got some acrylic paint, you could just paint it on. So, yeah. So let's just do clear just to see what it's going to look like. And then the champagne on the rest of it. Now, to be really careful when you're doing this that you're not going to dislodge that cured resin that's in there, because if you do, it'll pull away from the mold, and then when you do the next coat, the resin will go in underneath it. And I mean, it's not such a problem if it's just clear, but it won't look very nice because you'll have this big blob of resin on the top of your frog. So be really, really careful not to dislodge what you've already done. Go up the sides there. And oops, I'm not going to pull it. I was going to pull the back so I could see what I was doing, but nope. We'll just touch in there. Oh, look, I could turn it around, couldn't I? So that I could actually see what I was doing. That would work. There we go. Now I can get the sides. Silly me. Just turn him around, because you don't want to be pulling that back, because that definitely will dislodge everything. Now I'm getting a little bit of the dust on the actual resin. So afterwards, once I'm done, I can just go in with a baby wipe and just very carefully clean that off. The alternative is, of course, that you dust the whole thing, but I don't want to do that. I want the bubbles to stand out. I don't want anything else. And I'm going to blend these two just to make sure that we don't have any gaps. There we go. All right, it's done. Let's do the front. Oh, I've done that one already. So I've only got this one to do. Here we go. And I don't think there's any point getting into the face, because the clear resin comes up to here. So it's only going to be underneath, and it's difficult to get in there, and it's a bit risky. It's a risky business. You might dislodge something. So we'll just leave it. So I'm going to finish this, and then I will mix up my clear resin. I'll just use the same resin, the Let's Resin Fast Cure on here. I don't think I'll need very much. Maybe, I don't know, half a cup? Do you think half a cup? Maybe. Maybe. My little duster, micro duster thingy. Okay, let me get my wipe. You can use a baby wipe, or you can use one of these little micro brushes, and it's probably easier, and just spray some alcohol, isopropyl alcohol on the tip, and then you can easily just get in there and clean that off, and then you just have to wipe the end. And it's probably easier actually than trying to get in there with a baby wipe. Just getting any off the resin that I've spilt or that's flown in. Pretty easy just to do that, and you're not going to dislodge your cured resin piece. All right, I think that is done. Little extra bit there. All right, I'm going to go and mix up my resin and come back to you. Righto, I have my clear resin there, and like I said, it's the Let's Resin Fast Cure because I'm a bit impatient and I want to unmold this frog later today. I don't want to have to wait for tomorrow. For some resins, you know, that take 12 hours, 24 hours. Yeah, too impatient. Now, I also realised that this down here is a toe. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 on the top and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the bottom. And I didn't realise that until I'd already done it. So I just cleaned the gold out and put a little bit of the teal in there. All my previous frogs I've done, I must have done it wrong because there's definitely another toe down there. All right, now I will link Let's Resin for you down in the description so that you can get the Chameleon powders, the UV resin, and the Fast Cure. I'll link their regular website, their US Amazon website, and their UK Amazon website. So if you use any of those websites that are linked and go in and buy whatever you want and use my coupon code and you'll get 10% off. Okay, so that's a little saving for you. Now, I am going to just pour this in. I set it in hot water, in a bowl of hot water while I'm stirring. It just makes it thinner because it's pretty cold in my studio. It's 21 degrees Celsius, but it did get colder overnight. Still in winter. So the resin gets really thick, you know, it gets cold overnight, it gets thick, and it doesn't really want to release the bubbles all that well. So if you can sit it in some hot water while you're stirring it, it just becomes thinner and then the bubbles can come up to the surface a bit easier. Or, of course, you can use a vacuum chamber if you have one. I must tell you as well, actually, that Let's Resin have designed a vacuum chamber. I have got it. I haven't used it yet because it's not going to be available until end of September, I think. But I will use it and do a video on it shortly. I just thought, well, there's not much point me putting a video up of it if it's not going to be available for you, because you might all want it, but I haven't tried it yet. But I'm going to try it, and I'll make a video, but I just won't put it up yet until it's available. How's that sound for a plan? Now I'm just filling in these little Tootsie Toes. And when I do my frogs, I like to have the resin doming over the top rather than just having it just full. Otherwise the toes can be a little bit thin, and as the resin cures it kind of shrinks and pulls away anyway from the edges, so I do like to have it as full as I can. And you can see when it's doming because the edges of the resin, they kind of catch the light. If you're in front of a window or you've got some lights shining on you, they kind of catch the light and you can see what I mean. Anyway, so that you know that it's doming. All right, I think that will be it. Look how gorgeous and clear that is. So pretty. I've got a tiny little bit left. Maybe I can make a puffy heart. All right, so that's it. I am just going to cover this so that a fly doesn't go in there, and I'm just going to do that with my sieve because it's easy. I can do that. All right, see you in about 4 to 6 hours for the unmolding. All right, it has cured. The center cured a lot faster than the little thin feet because it's much deeper. And I've got a couple of bubbles that sort of came up and I didn't notice because I'd left the room. But anyway, let's get them out. Start at the back. Now the toes, because they are so thin and I filled them up as best as I could, always takes a little longer for the toes to cure. So I'm just going to be really careful that I don't break a toe. I probably should have waited another hour, but you know me. You should by now. I'm too impatient. Come on, get over the knee. There we go. Over the knee. It's just that I'm being extra careful, you see, not to break anybody's toes. Not to stand on anybody's toes. I guess if you did break one, you could use your UV resin and stick it back on again, but we do try not to break them. Oh gosh, I feel as if it's taking me forever to do this frog today. They don't normally take me this long. Oh, there we go. There we go. I just had to get it over the knee. All right, now the rest of it shouldn't be too bad. Let me just loosen these. Hang on, I won't bore you with my troubles. Almost there. Okay, got it. Okay, so it wouldn't have been so difficult if I just waited until these were a little bit more cured. So there he is, there he is. I'm going to put him on some black card so that we can see better. Okay, are we ready? Oh my gosh, bit of work. This was certainly a labor of love. Oh, it worked. Wow. Oh my gosh. That is stunning. Look at him, you guys. Look at him. He's so adorable. Adorable. My bubbles worked. Can you see there on the side how it's... You can see my two layers. I don't know if you can see. I know the ring light's annoying. And you can see a little bit of that champagne colour on his little feet there. There's not a lot of it. I mean, I guess if you only wanted to do the bubbles in the body and then put the mica powder on the legs, that would look really good too, but I'm happy with where I put them. I guess I could have put one in there on the knee, but that was really hard to get to. Those little spots there, they were really hard to get to. All right, let's go for a little walk around the room, a little hop around the room, and see what he looks like without these ring lights on, hey? Oh, I nearly forgot to tell you, the smoke detector. It was, it actually had burnt something out, like something was smoking. My husband came back from golf and he was checking everywhere, and I said, get up in the roof and have a look. And he got his ladder, and then he walked over to the pantry. Did I already tell you this story? Because it was a few hours ago. Anyway, it was the microwave. He opened the microwave door and this huge big cloud of smoke came out. So yeah, I need to go and buy a new microwave. So that was it. It wasn't too bad, but like just as well I was home. And he got it out, because when he took it out of the cabinet that it was in, it was one of those built-in microwaves. The cabinet side was really hot, so just as well I was home. So yeah, smoke detectors, smoke alarms, fantastic things. Because if you're asleep, at least it's going to go off and wake you all up. Hey, go check your microwave. Okay. Oh, that looks pretty over there. Away from the lights. Away from the lights. I want to turn my lights off and have a look. I also want to see what it looks like with a white background. Let's just go over here away from... Sometimes the lights, like they're too reflective. Yeah, see, I'm not, the side looks prettier than the top because I'm getting a reflection there. I'll turn off these lights and see if I can get a better shot for you. I'm still getting a reflection over the top there, but what can you do? There he is. Look at those toes. You can see the pink, and then it goes into this gold. And we've got the little teal toes, and they pick up the teal in there as well. And then, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but as you move, you get that galaxy coming through, which is that purple, the galaxy chameleon powder that I use, and then you turn it this way and you get more of a teal. So, and then that way purple. But yeah, it's really hard to show without all the reflections. Let's go and see what it looks like on a white card, shall we? We'll just walk over here and I'll put some white card down and we'll have a look at him with, oh, look at his feet. They've lost their pink and now they're white. They're just gold. Oh, so that looks really pretty too, doesn't it? So it just depends on the look you get. So you could decide, you know, if you do want to turn him over and spray paint him with black. You certainly could do that. The eyes look amazing. They've worked out really well there. There's the other one. On the side. So what are your thoughts? Do you like the white background, so where it's just clear? Is that one in his little elbow? Or do you prefer the black? Oops, get your toe off. Or do you prefer the black? I think I like the black better, only because I'm picking up a different shade in the feet. I'm picking up that pink and the gold. So there he is. All right. Thank you so much for watching. I know it was a long one. Sorry. Some of you love the long ones and then other people don't. So, but that's what the fast forward button's for, isn't it? He looks so cute. I love this frog. I'm definitely going to try it with my turtle. I think it would look amazing in my turtle mold. All right. I will say goodbye now. I've got to go and find a microwave. Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate everybody. All right. Thanks again. See you real soon for the next one. Bye for now.